Assalamualaikum and welcome. Thank you for giving me the floor in the virtual discussion organized by IEEE Chuet WIE Affinity Group Student Branch. I am Rizma Saman Jamiloy, starting my discussion with the topics of Smart Consumer Electronic System or Smart CE System, power supplies for electronic devices and S-chip protocol. First of all, the discussion topic is Smart Consumer Electronic System or Smart CE System. Smart CE systems are envisioned to be an energy security and response smart. Energy smart ensures minimal energy consumption that allows longer battery life and small energy bill. Security smart deals with the security, privacy, or protection of a CE system as well as that of data or media that this system capture, process, or store. Response smart refers to accurate sensing intelligent processing to gather knowledge or information from the data and fast actuation or response based on the information. Optimal combination of hardware and software modules need to be explored for energy security and response smartness of electronic system. A device used for non-commercial purpose in entertainment, communication and home offices is called a consumer electronics device or CED, which incorporates electronic circuits for operation. CED requires DC power to drive the electronic circuit. The supply can be 230 volt or 230 volt 50 Hz or 110 volt 6 Hz, depending on geographical location. An AC DC supply is used to interface the AC grid input to a CED. Inside a CED, there are various analog and digital electronic circuits and integrated circuits to process electronic information. There are multiple DC by DC power supplies known as point of load converter on the IC card or motherboard. With renewable energy becoming popular, DC supply is directly available for use in homes. There is also an effect to standardize DC power distribution and CEDs that work with a standard. A consortium known as Emerge Alliance worked with several multinational companies to streamline this effort. A power converter or power supply is used to efficiently convert and control power from one voltage, current or frequency level to another. Based on the profiles of input and output voltages, a power converter can be classified into 4 types. First one is DC by DC converter. Its input and output voltages both are unipolar in nature. There are 3 types of DC by DC converter: step down or buck type, step up or boost type, and up down or buck boost type. In buck type, the magnitude of the output voltage is smaller than the input voltage. In boost type, the magnitude of the output voltage is higher than the input voltage, and in buck boost type, the magnitude of the output voltage can be either smaller or higher than the input voltage. DC by DC converters are highly used in universal series fast charging ports, sensor power, powering portable speakers in smart devices, bias supplies, and so on. Second type is DC by AC converter, which has a unipolar unit input voltage and a bipolar periodic AC voltage. This converter is common in uninterrupted power supply designed to provide battery backup. For grid supply, solar inverter to interface PV source to grid also belongs to this class of converter. Next type is AC by AC converter, whose input and output voltages are both bipolar. This converter can be realized by cascading an AC by DC converter and a DC by AC converter. The last one is AC by DC rectifier, which has a bipolar periodic AC input and a unipolar DC output. All types of AC adapters belong to this type of converter. So it can be said that every converter is a nonlinear block because its output contains a frequency component other than its input frequency. Next, we have isolated DC by DC converter. A converter is required to galvanically isolate the utility grid input and the DC output that is achieved by using an isolated DC by DC converter. The basic structure is shown in the picture. It is realized by cascading a DC by AC converter. a high-frequency transformer, and an AC by DC converter. High-frequency transformers make the overall converter design smaller by reducing the transformer size. Isolated DC by DC converters are used to improve safety, enhance noise immunity, and achieve a large step or step-down ratio between the input and output. An isolated DC by DC converter provides isolation against direct short to ground. A non-isolated DC by DC converter does not provide protection against insulation failure. A power converter consists of two major building blocks, a power stage and a control stage. The power stage processes the power between the input and output. The control stage controls the converter parameters. There are various sensors that feed the converter voltage or current information into the control circuit. Based on the information, the control stage generates a square wave pulse width modulated signal to drive the converter. From a terminal behavior point of view, a converter works like a voltage or current source. The feedback and control implementation decides the source type. If the output voltage of the converter is regulated, the converter behaves like a voltage source. It means the output voltage of the converter remains constant, irrespective of variation in load current, input voltage, and other parameters. If the output current of the converter is regulated, the converter behaves like a current source. Here, load resistance decides the output voltage. There are some important design factors of a smart CE device. First one is output power. The power rating of a converter depends on the load it is designed to support. The overall objective is to reduce the cost and improve the efficiency of the converter. A factor that affects the power supply design choice is the ratio of input and output voltage. If the input and output ratio is high, a switching converter is the most optimal solution. Because in a linear regulator with a high input to output ratio, the voltage drop across the semiconductor device is very high, which leads to higher power loss. When the load current is very high, it is advantageous to use multiple parallel modules. This type of design leads to better efficiency, energy density, and modularity to the power conversion system. When the load current is in the order of tens of hundreds of milliamperes, a simple linear regulator or switch capacitor circuit is preferable. They are mainly used for application. As the load current level increases beyond a few amperes, a switching converter is the most optimal solution because it provides the best trade-off between efficiency and component current. There are two aspects of power converters used in CEDs. There are two important aspects of power converters used in CEDs that are important. Control, where the converter output follows a desired input reference signal, and regulation, where the converter output remains within desired limits with change in output parameters. The converter output follows the variation of reference signal. At higher current, the output voltage is regulated at a smaller value compared to the output voltage as at a lighter current. It helps in the reduction of the size of the filter capacitor, allowing the vary during dynamic operation. There are various charging methods of battery are available in smart CE system, including constant current, constant voltage, boost charging, pulse charging, float charging, etc. An optimal battery charger circuit is shown here, where the converter is made to operate like a voltage and current source. For current source operation, the converter is fed back with battery current, which is regulated to ICRG. For voltage source operation, the converter output voltage is feedback into the controller. The tracking of battery state of charge is achieved by monitoring the battery terminal voltage. These are some important design factors that are to be considered when designing a smart consumer electronic device. Now we will talk about some communication system. M2M or machine-to-machine is a direct communication between devices using any communication channel, including wired or wireless. It can include industrial instrumentation, enabling a sensor or mentor to communicate the information it records. H2M or human-to-machine communication is a form of communication where humans interact with a variety of devices like sensors and actuators. It can improve quality of life through the accessibility to smart devices, which has sensory inputs and assist with everyday tasks. SCHIP or Secure Communication for IoTs with Round-Robin Protection is one mechanism for secure and efficient communication within IoT networks. The protocol enables organized pairwise communication between IoT devices using unlimited data. SCHIP enables privacy from potential intruders. It enables secure and efficient communication within IoT network. It enables faster and more secure networks. It also enables complete peer-to-peer communication with decentralized node communication. The protocol has made M2M or machine-to-machine communication popular over H2M or human-to-machine communication in this modern age. Different scenario of M2M communication is shown here. In active scenario, a device attempts to communicate with an unavailable device. Inactive communications are not security threats, but they reduce overall communication efficiency. A valid communication connects two devices in the same click. There can be no interference with the connection, and these connections must be reliable regardless of the number of clicks. In valid communication of clicks, it finds multiple devices in vicinity with some identifier. In collision, two devices calculate the same target communication partner. Here, two sensors simultaneously communicate to one sprinkler system. SCHIPs and other benefits are making M2M more popular over H2M communication system, and its development is going up day by day. That's all for today. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Stay safe. Assalamu alaikum.
Giving me the floor. Today I'm going to talk on the topic of smart consumers electronic system. Today I'm to trusted-based mechanism to protect mobile networks. Second one, proof of authentication, IoT-friendly blockchain life. So, what is MANET? Basically, MANET means Mobile Ad Hoc Network. An ad hoc network is a collection of mobile nodes which forms a temporary network without the aid of centralized administration or standard support devices regularly available as conventional networks. These nodes generally have a limited transmission range, and so each node seeks the assistance of its neighboring nodes in forwarding packets, and hence the nodes in an ad hoc network can act as both router and hosts. So, what is node? Node means basically mobile device by which we can communicate. Its transmission range is very low. So, for large range communication, there is a necessity to purchase, or we can seek the assistance of neighboring nodes to reach the signal in far away. It is used as router or transmitter and receiver also. We can take a good example of MANET, which is walkie-talkie. Whenever we need to create instant network, in an emergency situation, we can use MANET. The kind of situation where is no infrastructure, let happening earthquake, we can use MANET. Since the network modes are mobile, an ad hoc network will typically have a dynamic topology, which will have profound effects on network characteristics. All nodes have identical features with similar responsibilities and capabilities, and hence its requirement. When it is out of the radio range, The MANETs are capable of multi-hop routing. Attacks can broadly be of two types, passive and active. Passive attacks don't disrupt the normal operation of network but pre-dropping and the analysis of traffic that flows in a network so that the attackers get meaningful data. Active physical data link transport that reside inside or outside the network to gather data and modify it. So, this is important to maintain the attack-free environment for safe phones, grids, and industrial control systems, showing intrusion preventing on systems in place. Major 4 active attacks are denied of service, which is also known as DOS, probing, vampire, and user to root, which is also known as U2R. Proof of authentication IoT-friendly blockchains. IoT enables devices across the internet to send data to private blockchain networks to tamper-resistant records of shared transaction. POAH, that means proof of authentication, can replace existing consensus algorithms such as POW, POS, infrastructures such as the IoT. The presented POH, that means proof of authentication, follows a traditional blockchain working model with lightweight block verification. POH aims to authenticate the blocks following the same method as blockchains. The trusted nodes in the network authenticate the blocks to add into the distributed ledger. There are basically 2 steps for authentication. One is authenticate the block and source of the block. Number 2 is upon validating the authenticate block by trusted nodes, which increase the trust value by 1 unit for those who have authenticated the block first. POH can avoid the inverse hash computation for energy efficient distributed secure communications and computing in the IoT. Blockchains in fog computing can bring a novel architecture for storing IoT device authentication properties in a trusted cloud and keeping their references on edge devices to work as a miner in the network to evaluate POH. And last topic is drones, augmenting our quality of life. Drone technology that has the potential to disrupt and augment our quality of life is swiftly evolving. Drones are rapidly growing in popularity and are used in various applications such as agriculture, emergency response, border control, asset inspection, intelligent transportation, and many more areas. A drone is now an intelligent, partially autonomous, and partially self-aware system that can function either individually or as part of a swarm. Sensors is one kind of technology used in drone technology. There are many types of sensors are used in drone technology such as accelerometer, gyroscope, digital compass, barometer, global positioning system which we call the GPS, high-definition camera, thermal sensors, LiDAR, radar, telecommunication sensors. Electronic sniffers are used as body part of a drone. We know various types of application of drone technology, such as road transportation, network minority. It is basically used, drone is basically used in this sector to control traffic and manage the traffic, and is efficient for traffic management. The second application is power line inspection. Drones provide an attractive alternative to manual inspection that can increase productivity and reduce the inspection time and cost. Third one is civil defense protection. Using high definition and thermal cameras, drones locate disaster survivors such as trapped civilians after an earthquake or shipwreck survivors in the sea. Search and rescue operations also benefit from autonomous deliveries using customized robotic arms to pick up and drop emergency response packages. Thank you so much.
Greetings, I'm Anupama Kundu. I'm a second year student of CHUET's Tripoli department. Today I'm going to talk about smart consumers electronic system. A method for localizing the eye pupil for point of gaze estimation. Eye tracking is a technology helping a lot in research purposes. Point of gaze estimation is a type of eye tracking that uses physical characteristics of the human eye. Considering the huge number of variables in the process makes it lengthy and prone to more disturbance. Point of gaze refers to the point where we look. There are a lot of scientific researches conducted using the point of gaze. Fatigue detection and attention tracking can be done using point of gaze technology. There are a lot of methods available to determine the point of gaze, among which determining the center of eye pupil localizing is one. Okay, so what is eye pupil localization? So eye pupil localization is done through several processes. Image of the eye. So first step is to get an image of the eye and convert the RGB image into a binary image. Then determining the pupil. Then from the binary image, the largest connected component is to be determined as the pupil. And the last process is getting the point of gaze. After determining the pupil and the center of it, various calibration processes are done to estimate the point of gaze. Why eye pupil localization? So here the question arises that why eye pupil localization? So other methods to determine the point of gaze technology takes more than one variable, maybe multiple parts of the eye. But when it comes to eye pupil localization technique, it's solely dependent on one single component of the eye and its pupil. Using of a single variable makes eye pupil localization method less complex and faster than other methods. The method is also easy to implement. This technology can help to obtain point of gaze easily than the other methods and also save a lot of time. So moving on to the next topic, e-marketing via augmented reality. So augmented reality or AR. Actually, marketing plays an extremely significant role in the success of any business. In tourism industry, marketing is a key tool to introduce various destinations to customers and attract them to visit a place or stay in a particular hotel. The forms of marketing have considerably evolved during the past decades owing to exchange enhancement in technology. E-marketing is a recent product of this evolution that has revolutionized the world of marketing. It has created a huge impact on different businesses and sectors, including the hospitality and tourism industry, in many ways such as customer satisfaction and revenue growth. In recent years, augmented reality has been used as a tool to boost e-marketing in many ways due to its unique features and capability. Okay. So marketing, among lots of marketing strategies and policies, e-marketing has become one of the most used because of its easy to use nature and attractive features. Because of globalization and internet technology, e-marketing has become the easiest way to reach most of the consumers. Augmented reality. Augmented reality or AR is a reality simulation by computer-generated visuals where users can experience the reality in a virtually created environment. AR technology is a shift from the earlier technology version of virtual reality. Both VR and AR are anticipated to be disruptive technologies with applications not only in entertainment but also business and education. Vivian Rosenthal, the founder of Goldrun, a New York City-based AR startup, has defined AR as a digital layer over the real world that you can't see with the naked eye, but you can see with the camera on your smartphone or computer. AR technology is basically a upgrade or virtual reality technology, where people must have a VR-supported device to enjoy the simulation. AR has made it possible to feel the simulated reality within our own reality only with our eyes. So, AR in e-marketing. Companies has a lot of possibilities to use and implement AR technology as their e-marketing policies. Any kind of services can be demonstrated in a virtual reality to the customers using AR technology. Customers will also get the proper view of the service they are about to buy. AR technology can also help to visualize a lot of things that are historical and are not available in present. So, moving on to the next topic. Okay, AR Museum. The AR Museum is a strategy employed by some museums to superimpose the virtual world over the real world to provide visitors with a vivid view and understanding of the origins history. So here we have discussed about a method for localizing the eye pupil for point of gaze estimation. By using the eye pupil and localizing it, gaze estimation can be done with more efficiency, and the process will be fast detection of eye pupil. Localization is to be done precisely and using that data, and through some calibration system, center of gaze can be determined. And the other is e-marketing via augmented reality, a case study in the tourism and hospitality industry. E-marketing and AR technologies, if combined together, can have a huge impact on the business. Marketing is one of biggest pillars of success of a company, and e-marketing has recently become the mostly practiced marketing tactic. AR uses the VR technology and mixes it up with reality to offer users a beautiful experience without wearing a VR headset. Using AR technology will definitely attract a lot more people than other methods because of its uniqueness and easy to use features. Tourism and hospitality industries can use this technology to boost up their marketing policies. That's all from my part. Thank you, everyone.